ready to use platform. What we mean by that is all application connectors, business use cases are pre-configured and to be used readily. Also, we call it as a zero-touch integration where an end user or a customer need not do anything. And second attribute is easy to use. A novice user can interact with the platform without any training. Since UI is a chat platform, you don't have any complex menus to navigate or anything to learn as such. Third attribute is self-service. As I mentioned, a novice user can use the platform without any technical knowledge. In the same way, a novice user can connect apps of his choice at the click of a button. There is no need for having or knowing any developmental knowledge or any technical knowledge to configure things. Likewise, we also have some key differentiators that differentiate incox from the other platforms. The first one is on-demand integration. What we mean by that is like all use cases has to be run on demand. So this enables controlled execution unlike automated triggering that happens in other integration platform. Click to run actions. You have to click a button to do an action, that's it. No additional configurations are needed. App interactions. You can interact with your app to know key information. We call it as fetching information from the key app. Normally, integration platforms doesn't support this kind of interaction with apps. And finally, it's a single interface for multiple apps. Through one chat platform interface, you can interact with multiple SaaS apps. Who we see as audience? So any SMBs using more than one SaaS application are an ideal candidate for using this platform. Also, SMBs now typically may not have a capable or developmental support resource handling IT stuff. So in that case also like a business user, or we call it as citizen integrators, can also be an user of this platform. Regarding business benefit, agility and productivity, since all the operations that you do are clickable, it makes your running integration tasks very agile. Similarly, since we have ready-built use cases, like you can, instead of going through multiple screens to do an action, you can do things at the click of a button, which increases productivity. Business info on the go. Normally, like when you want an information, you will sit in front of a PC or you will ask some person to fetch for you and things like that. In this platform, there is no need for any dependence or no need to be in front of a PC. Just you interact with the bot and you get the key business information that you need. For example, if a customer owes a payment, you can basically query and see that like who owes you a payment. Better collaboration. Since we use the org chat platform as the means for the bot, you can also side by side collaborate with your teams without any context switching. For example, you can fetch information from CRM, and in the side, you can ask a query to your sales team for a particular customer. Low risk integration. Since the integration is run on demand, it reduces impact due to human errors. In overall, you can connect and disconnect with the platform in seconds. So what it costs? We offer a 15-day trial, which comes with no commitment. So after this trial period, one can continue to use a service in a subscription-based model. We have monthly subscription and yearly subscription. Monthly subscriptions cost as low as $10 per month, and if someone is entering into an annual commitment, it will be $100 per year. So which means like you pay for 10 months and use it for 12 months kind of a thing. And the cost is for per organization, so there is no limit on the users there. Likewise, We also don't put a limit on the Zoho apps that is being used. Currently, I think the latest sites have the number of apps. So also we didn't put any restrictions on the number of apps that one can use. Let's see some numbers about the platform. So currently, the platform supports 8 Zoho applications. Additional 6 applications are being added as part of the platform. And each application supports approximately 15 use cases, meaning 15 actions, single step or multi-step. And some of the applications like Zoho CRM could have more. And likewise, we support 3 chat platforms as of now. One is Zoho Cliq and Slack and Skype. So we also published this information on our website, where the use cases that is supported on each application is also listed out. Next, we will look at an illustration of a business use case, how you can handle a business use case using Zoho Cliq and incoxBot combinations. So this will give you an idea of how connected business process can be handled in the incox platform at the click of buttons. Here you see a new business customer. You can assume a new business customer lead is created in the CRM. So this lead, basically once it is created in the CRM, through related actions that is configured in the platform, you can add this lead to Zoho campaigns for further communication. This happens at a click of a button, or we call through related use cases. This customer, when he closes a business, you can raise an invoice or a task to the accounts team to raise an invoice. Actually, you can create a ticket in Zoho Desk or a task in Zoho Desk to create an invoice. Assuming that an invoice is created in Zoho Invoice, that invoice can be replicated to Zoho Books by related actions as such for accounting purposes. Likewise, you can have create, update, and query actions streamlined across all of the Zoho applications. So you can also see that Incox not only acts as an integration platform, but also acts as an interaction platform. Now we will go to the demo. In the demo, we will showcase you the onboarding. The onboarding part covers how you can subscribe to the bot in Zoho Cliq, and how you can add the bot to your channel and start the interactions. And second, we talk about authorization. This authorization part talks about authorizing your SaaS apps for the bot. Then we run interactions, or we showcase the workflows that we discussed, and like how different actions that you can perform. And finally, we will talk about the how easy it is to deregister from the service. My colleague Partha will show you the demo.
Thanks, Chandra. So I'm going to share my screen now. Give me a minute here. All right. Thank you everyone for joining. As Chandra mentioned, we'll jump into the demo. Basically, what we'll see in the next few minutes is, where to go for installing this extension, or how to install the extension, and then we'll also see how to onboard any Zoho application into this bot, and also authorize the applications for the bot. Then we'll run through a few use cases. I think he showed in a small workflow picture where a business owner needs to interact with the CRM and also has to replicate a lead into Zoho campaign and so forth. Right? There are 3 use cases we'll run through, and then finally the process of how to remove an app that's already configured in the bot, or even uninstall the extension. Right? So with that, let's jump straight in. What you see on the screen here is the starting place. You basically go into Zoho Marketplace and the extensions here, and find Zoho Cliq extensions. And once you are in the Zoho Cliq extensions, you will, there are a bunch of extensions there. You can check them out as well. The one that we are going to talk today is this one, which is incoxBot integration bot for Zoho apps. So I'm going to click on this. This will basically take you into a page where the marketplace provides some basic details about what it does, some screenshots and reviews and so forth. And when you're ready to install, you basically click this install button. Once this install is clicked, now I'm going to go into the screen where we will see the installation page. This is how the installation page of the extension would look like. There's one change though. This is a demo version, so you will not see this text word in the marketplace version. Everything else is same. You will see a different logo here, but the functionality is the same. So once you see this page and you see the instructions for installing here, and you click on install. So once that's done its back-end work, what it will tell you is, you will have a success page here, and you will see some instructions on how to get started, and also there is a button that tells you take me to Cliq. If you're using the web version of the Cliq application, you can click here to get to the Cliq application, or in my case, I'm using a desktop version, so I'm going to click on the desktop application notification that I got here. So this is where we start. Once we install the extension, the first thing we do is we're going to get some authorization work taken care of. This is basically to allow bot to work on the Cliq platform. And what you see here is basically an authorization page of Zoho Cliq application, which asks for permissions, and you basically grant the bot the permission it needs to do or work with Cliq. And once you click on accept, we will redirect. This page will get redirected to. It's kind of slow here. Okay, it will get redirected to our website, and it connects back to the support page. In this page, you will find all the basic information, some FAQs, some user guides, and reference materials that you can come back and look at any time. I'm going to close this window for now, and once the authorization of Cliq has happened, now I see a button for adding apps. So before I go further, I want to just quickly mention about the mode of working with the bot. Basically, we have a model of guided interaction. What I mean by that is, all the applications will have some kind of root menus or a list of buttons that you work with, and each button will take you to the next level of menus, or maybe another set of buttons, or directly to perform some actions. That's one way of doing it, and the other way is you can also use natural language, like type a phrase or a sentence that you want to do a certain thing, and the bot would understand the context and show you a relevant module of an application that you can click on, and from there you can proceed. For now, as a first step, we will start onboarding an application into the bot. So since I have not added any other application before, this is a one-time screen that shows up asking for permissions again that this bot will be able to do. And I'm going to click on grant permissions and proceed to allow. So what I see here is a dialog box with a drop-down menu with a list of apps that is currently available in the portfolio. This list might extend over the coming weeks, but at least right now we have about 8 or 9 applications listed here. Right, so you can select any one of those and click on next to get that application added. So since in our demo we are going to see scenarios relating to CRM, campaign, Zoho Invoice, books, I'm going to add about 3 or 4 applications straight away, and then we can go to the execution of use cases. So let me start with Zoho CRM first. All right. So what I see is a configure Zoho CRM button, which is again, it's an authorization page. This is a CRM authorization page saying that the bot will be able to do these things, and it asks permission from the user. So the user is going to click accept, and once acceptance is done, again we redirect back to a specific page that talks about what are the different use cases that can be done using this bot with Zoho CRM. As you can see here, we can view a bunch of details, create or update or convert leads, update deals, see information about the accounts and contacts and all this stuff. So I'm going to close this. One thing to call out here is, these initial setup steps needs to be carried out by the person or user who has the role as an admin in the organization. So whoever has organization admin role would perform these, and once the extension is installed, the extension is applicable for the entire organization, which means this is a one-time activity done for the entire organization. And once the apps are authorized and the extensions are installed, subsequently an user can interact with this particular bot by going into bots and subscribing to the incoxBot. And any user who wants to kind of start using the bot will have to go into bots here and find incoxBot as an available bots and add subscribe, and that will start showing up into their Cliq window. For me, as I'm an organization admin, I'm just straight away installing the extension, so I'm seeing this without any additional step here, right? So the next thing, again, I am going to do is add a couple more apps. So let me do those as well. Next is going to be Zoho Campaign. As we saw earlier, this will again land on a page where we can see the details about Zoho Campaign interactions, and then we can do one more, Zoho Desk. So since I have more than one organization under Zoho Desk account, it asks me to select the right one. And once I select, again, I see the authorization page with the list of permissions that the bot will have. And as earlier, you will see the list of actions or activities and the information that you can interact with in Zoho Desk. Like you can create a ticket, create a task, or view the details of the tickets and tasks and all that stuff. So I'm going to close this here. While I'm doing this, I want to also mention about a few other things. One is, since I'm configuring apps, I can also type in the word configure, where I will see this add apps or remove apps buttons. Since I've already added 3 apps, I am seeing this remove apps now, but we are going to add a couple more apps and then go to the interactions here. So I'm going to add Zoho Invoice, and the last one will be Zoho Books. All right, with Zoho Invoice, again, you can see and do these things like creating invoice estimates, recording customer payment, and also fetching a bunch of information here. And the last one that I would add is Zoho Books. Okay, same way you see the list of interactions that can be done, use cases that can be executed in Zoho Books here. All right, so every time we added a new app, you see this root menu kind of thing for each of the individual applications that were added with a list of buttons that indicates the main modules under which you can execute a set of use cases. Right now, we added Zoho Desk, Invoice, Books, Campaign, and CRM. You see all these modules that's available for interaction. So before I click on any of these buttons, I also want to mention a couple of things here. One is at any point if you get stuck or you want to start a new conversation with the bot, you can always type hello, and what the bot shows is, it would show this particular screen with a list of all the root actions that's available. And other thing is, as always, there is help, and once you type help, you can at least see the key important keywords that you can use, like configure or hello to get started and all that. The other neat thing that you can also do is, let's say if I want to work only with Zoho Books scenarios, I can also type in the application name, and I get a list of actions that I can do with the specific application here. All right, so since we were going to create a lead in Zoho CRM and have that particular lead get added into Zoho campaigns after the lead is added, we'll start with Zoho CRM. I typed in Zoho CRM and I see these three different buttons here, which indicates I can perform a set of actions on these modules. I can also say I want to create a lead, and the bot would understand you're talking about CRM and will bring you to the module, leads module of that particular application. And then I can click on leads, and I can do any of these here, but for now, let's go ahead and create a lead here. So this is a dialog form on wherever there is inputs that's needed for a particular action. We show this dialog box and capture or get the required information and use that to create an object or record into the required application. So in this case, I'm going to create a lead. Let me take just a few details here. Lead from bot conference. I'm going to create this and create a lead. So once I did that, I get information that this was successful, and I also see that the lead was created, and I have a URL pointing to the object that we just created, in this case, lead in CRM. So this is a good way to, if you need to verify anything or if you need to add more details, you can use this link to get back into that particular object and, make any edits or review it, whatever you need to do, and then, continue on. One other thing that Chandra was mentioning earlier was, we have this concept of suggested actions or next set of interactions that will show up automatically. So here, what you see is after we created the lead, you have two options. Either you can look up leads by name or, add subscribers into the campaign, Zoho campaign. Since I've added Zoho campaign into my list of applications that this bot has to work with, this option is being shown here. So if I never added Zoho campaigns, obviously I won't see this. But since our goal now is to add this lead into the Zoho campaign mailing list, I'm going to click on Add Subscriber, and it's going to show a drop down with a list of mailing lists that I have in Zoho campaign. And I select that and click Submit. Before I click Submit, I do want to call out that here we're not collecting any email information or lead information because we just created a lead, and so on a contextual basis, the bot would recognize that you're really talking about this lead John Smith we just created. I'm going to click Submit to get the lead updated into campaign. So this particular remembering of the context for the next interaction is applicable only for the immediate interaction. So let's say if I go back and click this button of Add Subscribers again, this time I may have to, or I would want to put the email ID along with the email list. So this is something that you can use, especially when you are doing a lot of actions or giving a lot of input into one action and has to repeat the same thing into a different application. This will come in handy. And I'm going to show exactly this when we create invoice in a few minutes here. All right, so we just created a lead and have that lead added into our mailing list in Zoho campaigns. Now let's move into a second use case, which is working with Zoho Desk. So far, you might have seen either I have used the application name in full to pull up the list of actions that's applicable for that application, or I can also type in hello, which will bring the root menu here. So right now I did type Zoho Desk, and I'm having a set of 4 buttons where I can work with tickets, tasks, contacts, or accounts. So maybe we'll go and create a new ticket for this lead that we just created. Issue with onboarding, please help. And so it can be any user within Zoho Desk that will be listed here, and then I can also assign a priority and also set the assignee who will be working on this. And I'm going to click on create ticket. And once again, we got the ticket created successfully, and you also get the URL of that particular object where you'll be able to see that ticket in Zoho Desk if needed. And here the suggested actions is mostly about looking up tickets by contact or looking up tickets by agent. So for the next few examples, I'm going to look up on view tickets. Maybe I'll list all the open tickets here. I can see a list of ticket numbers, status, and also the subject of those and the due date. And I can also, look up tickets by priority. Maybe I want to take a look at a list of all high priority tickets. And I can see all these are high priority tickets listed and pending. You get the idea here. So you can use any of these interactions to fetch information from Zoho Desk. It might be overdue tickets or tickets by agent and contacts and ticket summary and whatnot, right? So that's on the Zoho Desk part. I did mention that we can also work with tasks. So maybe as a quick sample, I will create a task in Zoho Desk. I'll create a task. Right, and maybe it is in reference with the ticket that we just created, or it's an optional field, so you can have a task without a ticket association or with it. So it's up to the need here, and I'm going to assign to a person, and this is an optional field, so I'm going to skip right now. Once again, the task, the link to the task in Zoho Desk will be available here, and clicking on it would take me to that particular application. So the next scenario that we will see now is, creating invoices. So let's say hypothetically in this organization, the staff use Zoho Invoice for their invoicing purposes, and also at end of the day they have to move all that into Zoho Books for more detailed exhaustive accounting purposes, right? So here there is always a duplicate task or redundant activity that needs to be performed, but now as you will see with this part in the solution, you can make that much easier here. So I'm going to start typing with Zoho Invoice, also, or I can also say I want to create an invoice. You can do that too. So when I want to create an invoice, and I do see 2 buttons with invoices. Since we have added 2 applications that can do invoices, both of them can do invoices. So we are showing which one where do you want to create. So we wanted to create in Zoho Invoice first. So let's pick Zoho Invoice. Maybe this demo user, we're going to say 100. Right. Let's say we're creating an invoice in Zoho Invoice here. Once again, the link to invoice is available here, and you will notice that we are going into Zoho Invoices, and we got the amount and the description added for demo user here. But the key thing that we wanted to show here though was moving that particular invoice or copying that invoice into Zoho Books as well. So as you saw, the list of suggested actions had create invoice and look up by date for a customer, invoices by date for a customer. Here I clicked on create invoice. You might notice that we are only looking up the customer name, and not the amount detail or the description, because it's kind of going to be the same. The reason why we have a different customer name is, unless you have synced everything and you have the same contacts and customers in all the places, you can skip this as well. But there might be cases where you have named the customers or the contacts slightly differently, and you want to map it correctly without making any mistakes. So you have this option to select this particular customer as it is mentioned in the Zoho Books product. So once I click on that, what happens next is we get the invoice created for the same amount and for the same charges. And once again, we have the link to Zoho Books, which we will see in a minute here, that it was created for the demo user and the consultation charges with an amount of 1,500 rupees. All right. This covered the major 3 use cases that we wanted to show you guys. The next thing that we will do is, having installed the extension and also configured the apps, maybe there are situations where you want to remove one specific app or set of apps and then add a different set of apps, right? So as we already saw earlier, configure or setup will bring back these 2 buttons here, which is removing app and adding of apps. So I'm going to remove, as you see here, these are the 5 apps that we added at the beginning. So maybe I will remove the Zoho invoice. And the next time when I go do this, obviously I won't see Zoho invoice here. So you can, adding an app or removing an app into the bot is as easy as clicking of this button, and that's all it takes to integrate, any set of Zoho applications into the bot using this product, which is incox. So the last step here is going to be, showing you how to uninstall the extension here. So what I will do is, you can go into this icon, which has a list of extensions. Since I was working with this demo version, I'm going to click on this particular thing here and click uninstall. And once that's done, we will not see that anymore. I had it by name as incox test, and right now it's not there. So this covers the demonstration of the key use cases and also how to onboard an application into the bot, installing an extension, and also removing the app or reconfiguring the app, and also uninstalling the extension. So what we will do next is, if you guys can spend few seconds here in answering this poll question here. I will start the poll now. Yes, the poll is on. So I request you guys to give us a quick review on how do you feel this is and how it would work for you. And once we wait for a few seconds, we can start with a Q&A. I'm sure there's a bunch of questions that's lined up. We'll start talking about those in a minute. So while we jump to Q&A, I'm going to leave this slide on here, which has details about our contact email address and also bookmarks for the site links, and also the support page link, which has FAQs and onboarding videos and guides. You can keep that as reference. And as mentioned here, we would like to hear more from you guys. If there is any specific application that you would like to see first, or few use cases or additional use cases you want to see added into this solution, feel free to write to us at contact@incox.net. With that, while this slide is on, we'll jump into Q&A.
Hey, there are a lot of questions that are being asked, good questions. So Some of the questions we will try to answer here, and some of them we will email. So one common question that was asked on pricing, so as put in the slide, it's $10 per month. It's a monthly subscription, and $100 per annum, and it's per organization, and there is no limit on the users, and also no limit on the apps. And another common question.
Go ahead, Chandra.
Yes, I do see another common question. Will this webinar be recorded and circulated? Yes, we will send a link of this webinar to all the participants. And the next question is, will this solution be available as a white label? As of now, there is no plans, but whenever it is available, we will communicate it to all of the customers.
One other question I see here is, are all these actions available to all subscribers to the bot, or is there a way to set permissions based on roles or permissions in Zoho Apps? So currently it is not possible. All the actions that's available in the bot will be available for all the subscribers. But down the line, it's in our roadmap where we will bring in access control more specifically on an action-oriented and an app-oriented way. But right now, it's all actions available to all the subscribers of that bot in an organization.
There is a question on availability on other languages like Spanish, for example. So at this point of time, this solution is only offered in English for a foreseeable future. But at a later point of time, when we start including languages, maybe we will consider prioritizing the languages and inform the customers of the availability.
Okay, the next question I see here is, what advantages does this offer over using the bots that Zoho has for the various services? I currently use the desk and projects bot. So one thing I can right away say is, this is going to be a solution as a single bot for all apps, whereas as you have already mentioned, you're using two bots for desk and projects, whereas this is going to be one bot to interact with all the applications. So I hope that answers your question there.
I see a question. I have Zoho. Sorry, Partha, go ahead.
The next one I see here is, will you be adding support for other Zoho services like Zoho Recruit? Absolutely. We do have a set of products that we are working on right now, and that's also listed on our website, incox.net/integrations, where you will see a list of applications that's coming soon, and definitely Zoho Recruit is in that list. I also I see a similar question for Freshdesk as well. Yes, at this point though, we are trying to cover all the major Zoho applications first before we move out to non-Zoho applications. Even though right now we have one non-Zoho application, that is QuickBooks Online in the bot already available. But eventually, yes, we will get to Freshdesk and many other non-Zoho applications. And there are a few already marked in our integrations page on our website, like Jira, HubSpot CRM, and Twilio are the first few ones that we will be looking at.
In the same lines, even inventory is asked when it will be available. Zoho inventory will be available in next month as such. That's the plan currently. And
all right, there's another. Sorry, Chandra, let me check this. There is another one that says, will this work with Creator? Since Creator is a custom app by itself, it's not going to be that straightforward, but we are looking at some possibilities of bringing some set of actions into this bot, like maybe fetching forms when you give the form name and stuff like that. That will be coming later down the road.
There is a question, is this service included with the Zoho One? No, because it's an extension that is developed outside of Zoho apps, and it's developed to make the interactions between Zoho apps easier, so which means it's outside of Zoho One. And similarly, there was another question, why not there is an integration already built in between Zoho One applications. Zoho has already have some of the integrations out of box built, but it's not possible for them to build all of the scenarios. So that's where some of the scenarios which are not available out of box is being covered using this incoxBot.
And I have another question here that asks about how does that create a pop-up lead pop-up look or work on mobile. It's would be looking like in dialog box opening up on mobile. It's not much different at all. It's maybe the form factor would dictate the layout to be a little bit different, but it will look up like a pop-up once you have the Cliq mobile application on your mobile. And I guess the same question goes for other dialog boxes also, like create invoice, and any other dialog would look probably the same as a pop-up in the mobile.
There is another one question which asks about again integration between Zoho Cliq and another application. So I think Zoho periodically evaluates customer feedback and builds integration as per the market need. So I prefer it's an evaluation from Zoho side based on the customer feedback that they take into account and build the integration for their products.
All right, I think that's covered
I think most of the questions, yes, we covered. And if there are, what we will do is we will go through all these questions, and what we will do is we will club all those questions, and as part of the email that we send, we'll also try to communicate the answers for this question so that you can refer to them even after this webinar. So I think that brings us to the end of this webinar, and as we have laid out here, for any questions that you have, here as we've seen, we are open to evaluate additional applications and additional use cases for the existing apps. So you can communicate to us at contact@incox.net, and also we have put in our website, you can request a demo if you need, and also in the FAQ page, support page, we have put our onboarding videos and onboarding guides, and key common questions we already answered there. So in spite of it, if you have queries, feel free to reach out to us, and we will be supporting you as quickly as possible. Thanks for joining this webinar, and you all have a good day.
Thank you, everyone.